It's the 47th day of the nationwide lockdown today. Most of the countries have adopted the lockdown strategy in their fight against COVID-19. The global economic recession has been a major concern, while countries are now trying to phase out restrictions to rope their way out of economic crisis. The WHO has meanwhile warned that it's still too early to relax lockdown measures. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan and these are the headlines of the hour. Parties vow for a joint effort in the battle to prevent coronavirus epidemic in the country. Opposition alleges the government of exhibiting negligence in dealing with the crisis. Additional 7 individuals test positive for coronavirus. Government sends 10,000 PCR kits to carry out tests in the virus-affected regions. India opens its roadway to China's Tibet region through Nepal's Lipu Lake, despite the border dispute between the two nations yet to resolve. And death toll from novel coronavirus in Italy crosses 30,000 mark. A top aide to U.S. Vice President Mike Pence tests positive for COVID-19. The political parties representing the House of Representatives have stressed on the need of a joint effort in the fight against the current coronavirus crisis. Speaking at the budget session of the Federal Parliament that convened yesterday, the leaders of the House of Representatives called for effective measures in terms of containing the coronavirus crisis along with providing relief to the people in need, rescuing the hardest hit population and sorting out the economic setback induced by the pandemic. Meanwhile, the opposition party leaders strongly criticized the government of exhibiting political negligence during such a national crisis in the parliamentary session. The president of main opposition Nepali Congress, Sher Bahadur Deuba, alleged the government of losing its moral grounds with regard to the ordinance issued, corruption during the procurement of medical equipment and indifference towards the Nepali nationals stranded in foreign lands.
विश्वव्यापी रूप में मानव जाति का समक्ष कोरोना रूप को ठूलो चुनौती देखा परेको छ। नेपाल पनि यस महामारी को अत्यन्त ज्यादा जोखिममा रहेको छ। सर्वत्र त्रासको व्यवस्था विद्यमान छ। यस्तो विषम परिस्थितिमा सरकारले कोभिड-19 को नियन्त्रण र निर्मूल गर्न विवेक समेत तरिकाले जिम्मेदार भई कार्य गर्नुमा सरकार यसमा पूर्ण रूपले असफल भएको छ।
Lawmakers of the opposition parties also alleged the government of being indulged in party split, backing corrupt leaders and getting involved in lawmakers' kidnapping instead of addressing the public grievances and needs.
अन्याय भएको छ। तपाई रोगले जीर्ण भएको शरीरलाई तपाईले चाहिँ आराम दिनुपर्छ र यो लोकतन्त्रलाई बचाएर तपाई आफ्नै एउटा छविलाई पनि बचाएर अगाडि बढ्नको निम्ति तपाईले राजीनामा दिनु नै उपयुक्त हुन्छ। त्यो नै एउटा उचित निकास हुन्छ र त्यसले नै समाजलाई देशलाई अगाडि बढाउन सक्छ र तपाईको उचाइ पनि कायम रहन्छ।
However, lawmaker of the ruling Nepal Communist Party Subhas Nemwang backed the government, citing that the government has taken significant precautions to contain the coronavirus spread. Meanwhile, the lawmakers of other parties as well demanded the government to expedite the test, rescue the ones stranded abroad and abide by the due procedures and mechanisms while undergoing any activity. The government has deployed a medical team to collect additional 5,000 samples for coronavirus test in 3 days following the massive criticism for the failure to expedite the test. The swab samples would be collected from 14 districts including Bankhe, Parsa and Udaipur, where infections have surged within local settlements in recent days. Likewise, pool testing of the quarantined individuals are also to be carried out. We have more in this report.
The Ministry of Health and Population has deployed a 14-member team to collect additional 5,000 swab samples from 14 districts among Bankhe, Parsa and Udaipur. The team has been directed to finish collecting the samples by 10th of May. Likewise, the ministry has sent additional 10,000 testing kits to the affected districts, taking into account that the lack of necessary kits has affected tests in many infection-prone regions. The government of Switzerland had provided 30,000 PCR kits to Nepal earlier this week. Only 15,492 individuals have undergone PCR tests across the country so far, while there are 15,624 people in quarantine in suspicion of contracting the novel coronavirus. As the government started drawing widespread criticisms due to sluggish pace of testing, even amid a frequent increase in coronavirus cases in the country, the Ministry of Health and Population now has decided to carry out PCR pool testing of those in quarantine as well, besides moving forward contact tracing of the infected individuals. Experts have urged all the concerned sectors and health professionals to make the utmost use of the medical equipment in testing procedures, citing that this could be an effective way to prevent possible coronavirus outbreak across districts.
The number of coronavirus cases in the country has reached 109 as 7 individuals tested positive for the virus in the past 24 hours. 3 women aged 18-45 from Bhulke, Udaipur, 3 men aged 17, 18 and 18 from Kabilbastu and a 62-year-old man from Chapkaiya Birganj have been tested positive for the virus. According to the statement from the Health Ministry this morning, all the infected are said to be in normal health condition. Yesterday, a 16-year-old boy from Nepalganj had tested positive for the novel coronavirus. He is among the 136 individuals who had come into contact with other infected individuals in Nepalganj. With this, the number of coronavirus cases in Nepalganj has climbed to 24. Altogether, 27 among the infected individuals have already recovered from the disease and returned home, while 3 among the recovered individuals have been admitted in hospitals after testing positive for coronavirus again. India has opened its roadway to China's Tibet region through Nepalese territory in Lipulekh. The government of India had unveiled a controversial political map on the 12th of October last year by illustrating Nepal's Limpiadhura, Lipulekh and Kalapani region as its own territory. India has now carved the roadway to China through the Lipulekh region itself, as the border dispute between Nepal and India has yet to be resolved. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has unveiled clips of video conference in New Delhi, where the Indian minister can be seen inaugurating the road link. The governments of both Nepal and India have vowed to sort out the border dispute following widespread criticism regarding the political map issued by India by breaching the Nepalese territory, but the diplomatic and political initiative by the governments of Nepal has been a far cry as of now. The government has beefed up security checks amid precautions against coronavirus at the transits to enter Kathmandu Valley by making some changes in the lockdown modality starting yesterday. The security bodies have tightened checkings at the transit points with the government's decision to allow the movement of necessary vehicles meant for operating essential industries in the country during the nationwide lockdown. The vigilance has been beefed up after even the vehicles meant for carrying food and other essential items started carrying people into Kathmandu Valley. Likewise, vehicles having passes issued through their districts have been barred from entering Kathmandu Valley in a bid to prevent the risk of coronavirus outbreak in Kathmandu Valley. Police have arrested 45 Chinese nationals who had staged a protest in the capital Singdarbar yesterday, demanding the government to arrange for their safe return to their home country. The Chinese nationals who have been involved in different businesses in the capital resorted to demonstration, citing that the Chinese embassy remained indifferent to their request to help them return home, although they had said that they have run out of living expenses. The Chinese nationals were arrested after they started a sit-in protest in front of the capital Singdarbar. The sit-in turned violent as the protesting Chinese nationals clashed with police. DSP Hari Basnet, among 4 other police personnel, along with 2 Chinese protesters, were injured in the clashes. The coronavirus test in the far western region has remained stalled for the past 2 days after the PCR kits to undergo the test were found out of stock in the region. The swab samples of 4 individuals were tested earlier this Wednesday. The test of 55 other samples collected 4 days ago have failed to move forward due to the lack of the testing kits. The swab collection from additional individuals has also been stalled for the past 4 days. According to spokesperson of the Sethi Provincial Hospital, Dr. Jagdish Joshi, there have been difficulties in testing the samples of the ones who are in quarantine in the region after they had returned from India and those who have returned home after recovering from the disease. The sample test of 3,319 individuals in Baitari has come to standstill due to the lack of the testing kits. The risk of the novel coronavirus outbreak in the far western region has not subsided as the people are thriving on the porous border points to sneak into Nepalese territory. And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And your question is, what should take on the government's decision to open the share market amid lockdown? And your options are option A, appropriate, option B, inappropriate, and option C, indifference. The voting for the question is on. Type NAWS, select your option A, B, or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time now for our special segment, Media Watch.
With the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country, the parameter of testing was supposed to be expanded. However, the test for COVID-19 has declined recently. The Nepal Army too has not been able to procure essential medical supplies despite taking over the responsibility from the government a month ago. It is still not clear when the Nepal Army consignment will arrive. The sluggishness in screening has been mainly attributed to the lack of adequate medical supplies. The mechanism under the Health Ministry has assigned the Nepal Army to buy essential medical supplies on 29th of March. According to sources, the Nepal Army is still collecting the required medical equipment in China. Likewise, 53 types of medicines which are supposed to be imported from India are also uncertain. The shortage of medical supplies only highlights the government's dismal approach in dealing with the pandemic. As industries and overall businesses worldwide have faced a huge economic setback due to the coronavirus pandemic, the National Planning Commission back home has started a study to predict the degree of poverty in the country resulted by the pandemic. Economists have warned the pandemic would cause a significant damage to people's normal lives with a significantly greater economic impact compared to the 2015 earthquake. Thousands of the daily wage workers across the country are out of jobs as construction works have come to a standstill. Likewise, jobs of around 1.5 million workers in the hospitality and tourism sectors are at risk, while other sectors too have begun facing the brunt. The Central Bureau of Statistics has estimated that Nepal's economic growth in the ongoing fiscal year will be limited to 2.27%. Experts say that this declined economic growth will affect the low-income population the most, and that there are high chances that families that have managed to upgrade their economic status will be pushed back to poverty. The government has extended the ongoing nationwide lockdown by 11 days until 18th of May in a bid to combat the spread of the coronavirus infection in the country. The country is in a state of lockdown since 24th of March. The government deems it necessary to extend the lockdown as the number of cases has been increasing alarmingly. Earlier, the high-level Coronavirus Commission formed to contain the spread of COVID-19 had recommended amending the modality of the lockdown. However, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli stated that the lockdown should continue as the risk of the spread of the infection still persisted. Experts are of the view that merely extending the lockdown without expanding the coronavirus tests across the country would turn ineffective in terms of preventing the coronavirus outbreak in the long run. Likewise, it's also crucial for the government to have a comprehensive alternative plans to ease the general public's distress induced by the lockdown so as to attain a sustainable outlet to the current coronavirus crisis. This is Bipashna Tamang for Media Watch and Kantipur News Desk.
And that's all for the moment. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Stay home, stay safe, and have a good day.